Hey, I'm in the middle of morning rush hour traffic in my city. I'm leaving. I just left from DC. I'm back in my city. And when I was in DC, look at this guy. It's a car right in front of me who has absolutely no license plates. It's like whenever somebody is doing something flagrantly wrong, they never get pulled over. The police are never around, but when I do something so small, I get pulled over. Just to get you to sing, get you to vibe. But I was telling my friend in DC this old story that I always tell because my peoples up there always ask me to tell a story every time they see me. They'll see me and they'll be like, yo, tell him the story about the judge's daughter. And I just say, hey, alright, I'll get into it. Alright, so the story is back in 2012, I was back in that, I'm 30 years old now, but in 2012, I was 21 years old or 20. And at that particular time in my life, I was interested in going to bars with my little small circle of friends. We never went to big bars. We never went to we like to go to little small intimate bars. But this particular night, we went to one of these little small bars. I'm buying beer, I'm buying Coronas, I'm buying. I think I was drinking Incredible Hulks, Hennessy and Alizé, I think, something like that. But I'm drinking, and this girl keeps staring at me, right? And she's a light skinned girl who has the same complexion as me. And normally, I'm not really interested in light skinned girls, but once I got drunk and we were about to leave, somehow we started speaking to each other and exchanged numbers, and we didn't even have a conversation. It was just like, I think I just like ran up on her and was like, yo, I'm about to dip out, but take my number or something like that. And she took my number down, and I didn't think anything of it. So a couple hours later, I'm with my homeboy, and I think he was taking me home. We were in the process of leaving downtown of our particular city and headed to the outskirts of the city. He was going to take me home, and I get a text, and it's from the girl from the bar, and I'm like so drunk at that particular point in time, I barely remember who she is. I'm like, she texts me and she's like, yo, what's up? And I'm like, who is this? And she tells me her name, and I'm so drunk at that point in time that I didn't even really put two and two together and realize that it was her from the bar. So I asked for her address, and she texted to me, and I told my friend to take me there. I had no intentions of staying. I just wanted to kind of like see who it was because I had no idea who it was. I just thought it would be fun to see who this person is. I knew it was a girl, and I thought it would be cool to see, to play this game of, when she comes to the door, how is she gonna look, right? All right, so we get to her house, and we pull up in this amazing neighborhood, gated community. Houses are very big, $1 million houses. We get to her house. My phone dies. As soon as we pull up to her house and I text her and say I'm outside, my phone just dies, right? Bad timing. So as I'm walking up to her doorstep, I see my friend pull off. He pulls the fuck off, right? He pulls off. And I'm looking, and as I'm looking at him pull off, and I'm just like stuck. Like, what the like, is he really pulling off and leaving me at a stranger's house? I don't even know how this person looks, right? So at the same time, I'm just in this zone of stuckness. The door rattles and she comes out, and it's a cute light skinned girl, right? And I'm like, all right. And she's like, "Where's your car?" And I'm like, "Man, my friend left me here, yo. I think there was some type of miscommunication, or maybe he was jealous of me, or what." So I walk inside her home, and You know what I mean? And I don't really remember what happened when I first got there. I mean, it was so late at night. I was so drunk. She probably was a little drunk too. So I think we went straight to her bedroom and just like laid down, you know. And I think she rolled up some weed and we smoked some weed. And then we just went to sleep. We didn't even talk or anything. You know, she just rolled up some weed. I was like, let me hit that, you know, because I'm so drunk. I need to stabilize myself. And we laid down. I laid down on we went to her bedroom. I laid down on the floor. She was in her bed. And I'm stretched out on the floor, like, uncomfortable as hell. And in the middle of the night, she's like, yo, you can come on the bed if you want. It'll be more comfortable. And you know what happened after that. Nothing really happened, but I was trying to make something happen, you know, and she was resisting in a playful way. But unfortunately, I committed an act that I'm really not proud of, because at 30 years old, I know better. It's not wise to do things like that with a complete stranger, somebody you don't know, especially without protection. But I was young, I was 20, and I did it. You know, and it was cool, you know what I mean? She was a beautiful girl, I mean, stunning. But the next night, I wake up, I go use the bathroom, and I get lost because the house is so damn huge. And I end up in this big room, this big master bedroom, and there's a big painting, a big portrait on the wall of a guy in judge clothes. And I recognized who he was, because at that point in time, I was getting in trouble. I was constantly going to court, constantly getting caught for doing little dumb stuff. And I knew the judges in my city at this particular courthouse, and that was one of the judges that I had been, had been to before. So I asked her, I'm like, yo, is that a judge? And she's like, yeah, that's my dad. Long story short story longer, I get caught selling weed, because I was selling weed at this period of time. I get caught, an informant told on me, and I get arrested, and I end up in jail. I text her before the police allowed me to send off a couple of texts before they took me to jail, and I text her and I was like, yo, I'm gonna be in jail. I need you to bond me out. And she came, and she didn't bond me out that night, but she came to visit me like a week later, right? And when she visited me, she was like, yo, I'm getting the money together, I'm gonna bond you out. And I was like, word. So she bonded me out. You know, she visited me after a week of being in jail, and after she visited me, she bonded me out like 2 days later. And she took me home, and you know, we just basically had like a sexual relationship. She wasn't even my girlfriend. We never went out in public. The only time we went out in public is, you know, she went with me to go buy some clothes one day. I needed to buy like a new jacket, and she went to the mall with me. But other than that, we never went out to eat or nothing. I mean, our relationship was always sexual, you know, and we never got together in the daytime. We only got together at night. So when she visited me in jail and bonded me out, I was thinking that maybe our relationship was going to progress and actually become real. But what ended up happening is her father got wind of me somehow. He found out that his daughter was on the visiting list of an inmate, and he looked me up. He seen that I was in jail for selling weed. He saw my previous record, and he put two and two together, and he realized, hey, this new guy that I heard my daughter, you know, the neighbors basically told him that this guy keeps coming to your house at night, because he and his wife, they lived on a farm full time, and for some reason he just never stayed in this home. He was always at this farmhouse. But he got wind of who I was through the neighbors. He found out his daughter was on the visiting list, and he told her that she couldn't deal with me anymore. So, you know, we had sex one last time at her house, and after that she was like, yo, you know, I'm not gonna be able to see you no more. And I was like, what? Because at this time I'm kind of like emotional. I like her because I'm feeling like she's a rider, And I was like, damn. And she was dead serious. I never seen her again after that. A couple months later, after this final sex session where after we finished, she told me that it was all over. She called me like a little while later, like a couple of months later, and told me that the real reason she dropped me like a bad habit wasn't because of her dad. It was because she had a boyfriend the whole time. So I'm 20 years old. This is my first time dealing with a girl of this caliber. In my mind, I'm thinking that, oh, she's a judge daughter. She's 4 years older than me. She's a college graduate. She's a good girl. She's like wifey material. But in the end, I realized that, I mean, this girl is. I mean, just because she's the daughter of a judge, a college graduate, that doesn't mean anything. She's scandalous. She's scandalous. And at that point in time, I learned a very important lesson about women. I can't judge women based on what they do for a living, who they're related to, their socioeconomic background. I learned that right then and there at 20 years old. The judge's daughter, man. Wherever you are, if you see this, if you manage to see this video, the girl I'm talking about, we used to have a good time. Like, I know for a fact I'm the first guy to do what we did, the way we did. I mean, you used to tap out like making. I honestly, the whole time we were together, I never actually had a chance to do my thing. You always did your thing, and you was like, I can't do it no more. And you would stop and push me off, and I'm sitting there in the bed like, fuck. So I know I gave you an experience, and I know that your boyfriend and the other guys that you've been dealing with since 2012, I know they haven't been able to measure up, because back then I introduced you to something fierce. I gave you what they call a frame of reference, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's a blessing that I was able to do that for you. And I also think that it's a blessing that you were able to do something for me, which is teach me that, this whole girl next door construct is just BS. Peace. It's all good. I mean, it's just experiences, one of the experiences in our travels, Peace.